That's right, everybody. It's Frex from the Frex Zone. And I'm here today to cover a topic that seems to be a big news item, and that is the FEMA camps. Look at my shirt. Look at the back of it. Look at my hat. Yeah, anybody can buy those, but the fact is I've been a FEMA contract FEMA inspector for 25 years. I started on Hurricane Hugo. I did Andrew, Aniki, Ike, George, Charlie, Francis, Gene, Ivan, you name it, I've been there. I also did Irene and Sandy, the latest ones too. I've done hundreds of floods, tornadoes, fires, all that. No, I did not work ground zero. But just to give you a little background on me, yeah, 25 years I've been a FEMA contract inspector, okay? Now, first thing I want to talk about is these all these videos about coffins and mass hysteria about martial law, extermination, and FEMA camps and all that. You know, first off, I mean, really think about it, really. Mass extermination, they don't waste their time with caskets, okay? What they do is they dig a big hole, throw all the dead bodies in and bury it. Look at all the wars we've been in, Vietnam, Korean War, World War II. Look what Hitler did, exterminating the Jews. He gassed them, then dug big holes, threw them in there, okay? The government is not going to waste any money on caskets and so they can stack them nicely in big holes. No, they're going to dig a big hole and throw you in it. And if you don't believe they even do that right here in the United States, in the early 1900s there was a plague epidemic, okay? Huge, hundreds of thousands of Americans died. People, the dead people were stacked like cordwood in the streets waiting for hazmat teams to come up and pick them up. And they took them out somewhere, burned them, dug the big hole and buried them. Mass graves. There was no tombstones, no caskets or anything. Now, let's get to the FEMA camps. I've seen a lot of videos out there of these FEMA camps, okay? Yeah, I've even stayed in FEMA camps, but they're not what you think. Okay, FEMA camps were set up usually with mobile homes, anywhere from 50 to 100 of them. Like Katrina, for an example. They had quite a few of those parks set up. It was more of a FEMA park. It's housing for disaster victims. Sure, they put a fence around it, say it's a FEMA compound and all that. Keep the riffraff out, keep the kids inside or whatever. But it's not a concentration camp for martial law where they're going to exterminate you. Okay, the big thing about all of this too is, yeah, you don't see any of those camps around much anymore. What you do see is paranoid people taking videos of ex-military bases, the ones that have been retired. And what FEMA's doing nowadays, instead of supplying like a trailer or a mobile home, they're actually refurnishing some of these bases that have been retired, okay? They go in and fix up officers' quarters, the barracks, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it all has fencing around it, all that nice stuff. But it's not a concentration camp or an extermination camp. It's for disaster victims. In Katrina, one of the biggest complaints of all the people there and all the victims of Katrina was some of them were shipped thousands of miles away. You know, Salt Lake City, New York, Maine, Washington State. Well, if you had a lot of these retired bases all fixed up and they are close to a disaster, you can put all the people there and house them there. A lot of the people don't want to stay in the FEMA trailers, which is very convenient. You could pull it up right in your driveway, your front yard, hook it up, and you have power and all that, everything you need to survive there while your house is being fixed. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to stay in them. So we have alternate housing. At least that's what I think they're doing as far as that goes, okay? I know there's a farm out in Arkansas where a guy has 26,000 mobile homes that are FEMA sitting out on his property, okay? Because nobody wants to stay in them. Anyway, other than that, all I can say is I'm sticking to my story. This is the Frex of the Frex Zone, and that's all I gotta say about that. Thank you for listening.